Now we're going to put into practice what we just learnt in the last exercise with similar triangles. So remember what we talked about with similar triangles, that the angles are the same, but the sides are in ratio, the corresponding sides. And so that ratio is called the scale factor. So if you're looking at that example in front of you, you can see there that if you go from the bigger to the smaller, that you are dividing by 2.5, or if you are going from the smaller to the bigger, you are timesing by 2.5. And so that is our scale factor, and the letter that we use for that is K. In this example here, a homemade raft consists of 2 sails with measurements and angles shown in the diagram. Now, we need to look at that because in part A it says give reasons why the 2 sails are similar. Well, are they similar? Let's think of our 4 different rules that we could use, or our 4 different tests. And because you can see there the 2 angles, it means that if the 2 angles are the same, so you have the 2 90s, you have this angle and this one being the same because it's a dot, which means that the 3rd angle must be the same for both sails. Now what you can see that I've just done is taken those 2 triangles out and drawn them separately. And I've also drawn them so that they're sitting exactly the same way. So all of their angles are in exactly the same spot. You can see straight away there that we have a pair of corresponding sides. Why are they corresponding? Well, we know now that because these triangles have the same angles, that they would be similar because of the rule angle, angle, angle. So all 3 angles are the same, all 3 corresponding angles. Angle, angle, angle. And so given that is the case, the next bit says find the scale factor for the side lengths of the sails. Well, again, here's our corresponding sides. All right, so bigger divided by smaller. 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. That's our K value. So that means that to go from the smaller triangle to the bigger, we have to times by 2.5. Part C on the next page is asking us to find the length of the longest side of the large sail. Now I've just labelled that as X. How do I know that's the longest side? Well, it's the hypotenuse, and we know the hypotenuse is the longest side. To get from 2 to 2.5 to 5, I times by 2.5. So I'm going to have to do the same because it's my scale factor to get to X. So here, X is equal to the length of the smaller sail, which is 3.5, times it by the scale factor, which I've worked out, or the ratio. And when I multiply them together, I get 8.75. Now don't forget, my units were in metres. So that's 8.7 metres. And that is now the length of the larger sail. In our last example here, a ramp is supported by a vertical stud. Vertical stud is this, A to B, where A is the centre of C to D. That's an important fact. It is known that CD is 6 and the ramp is 3 metres high. Well, we can see all of that from the diagram there. Now, part A asks us to use the letters given, name and draw the 2 triangles that are similar, and give your reason. Well, again, let's have a really close look at these 2, and they've both got a 90-degree angle. The other thing is they share this angle here. So 2 of their 3 angles are the same, which really means that this one and this one have to be the same. Now I've quickly drawn those 2 triangles, labelling them with all the information that I was given. The only other bit of information I know, and this was the important bit too, was that A is at the centre of C and D. So if it's at the centre, it's halfway. So we know that this is 3 metres. And don't forget now to label all our angles. So that one and that one were the same. We've got our right angles and this one up here and this one up here were the same. So the question says, let's read it again, using the letters given, name and draw two triangles that are similar. So there they are. Give your reason, okay, and the reason they are similar is angle, angle, angle. We don't have enough information about their lengths because we've only got one pair that are corresponding, but because of the angles being the same, they are similar. Which now brings us to the second part, which says find the length of stud AB. So stud AB is this bit here. Let's find our scale factor first. Now we have two pairs of corresponding sides, and we know they're in the same ratio because they are similar triangles. So 6 divided by 3 is equal to 2. That's my scale factor. That's telling me that the sides in the bigger triangle are 2 times bigger than the sides in the smaller triangle. So I want to find the distance between A and B, stud AB, or its length. So I know that that is corresponding to this one over here. So if I'm going that way, I know that 2 times x is equal to 3 because I have to multiply by 2 to get to 3. So x is equal to 3 on 2, or 1 1/2. We are in metres, so it's 1.5 metres.